Let me ask you something. Have you noticed that the pants that fit you perfectly 5 years ago are suddenly not so comfortable around the middle? Even though you're eating pretty much the same way you always have, if you're nodding your head right now, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not imagining it. Something real is happening in our bodies after 60, and today we're going to talk about it honestly. No scare tactics, no miracle cures, just a genuine conversation about what's going on with belly fat as we age and what actually helps. And I'm not going to tell you there's one weird trick or a 30-day transformation. What I am going to share are 5 practical, science supported strategies that can make a real difference when you stick with them. Not overnight, but over time. Before we dive in, drop a comment below with your age and where you're watching from. I read every single one, and I love hearing your stories and questions. All right, let's get into this. First, let's talk about what's actually going on. There are 2 types of fat in your body. There's the fat you can pinch, that's subcutaneous fat right under your skin. And then there's visceral fat, which sits deeper around your organs. Now, here's what matters. Visceral fat is more metabolically active than the fat under your skin. That means it can affect things like blood sugar, cholesterol, and inflammation in ways that the pinchable fat doesn't. And here's the thing nobody tells you. After 60, your body naturally becomes more likely to store fat in this visceral area. It's related to hormonal changes, shifts in how you sleep, changes in muscle mass, and even stress patterns. This isn't about vanity. A little belly is perfectly normal and nothing to panic about. But understanding what's happening helps you make choices that support your health for the long haul. The good news? Visceral fat actually responds pretty well to lifestyle changes, better than subcutaneous fat in many cases. Your body after 60 is still incredibly capable of change. It just needs the right approach. So let's talk about what actually works. Here's something that surprised me when I first learned about it. Your body's relationship with protein completely changes as you age. When you're younger, your muscles are like sponges. They soak up protein efficiently. After 60, they become a bit pickier. Research shows you actually need more protein at each meal to get the same muscle building effect. Now, why does this matter for belly fat? Because muscle tissue is metabolically active. It burns calories even when you're resting. So, maintaining your muscle mass is one of your best defenses against gaining visceral fat. The research suggests that adults over 60 benefit from getting about 25 to 30 grams of protein at each meal, not just hitting a daily total, but spreading it throughout the day. What does that look like in real life? Breakfast might be 2 or 3 eggs with vegetables, Greek yogurt with nuts, or a protein smoothie if that's your style. Lunch and dinner could include a palm-sized portion of chicken, fish, or lean meat. Or if you're plant-based, a generous serving of lentils and quinoa, or beans with whole grains. The trick is making protein the star of your plate, then building around it with vegetables and whole grains. Here's something practical. Many people I talk to skip protein at breakfast, maybe just toast or cereal, have a light lunch, then try to catch up at dinner. But that pattern doesn't give your muscles what they need when they need it. Start with one meal, maybe breakfast, and focus on getting that protein in. Once that becomes habit, work on the other meals. You don't need to be perfect. You're just creating a pattern that supports your body better. Okay, this next one sounds a little unusual, but stick with me. Your body actually has 2 types of fat tissue. The white fat stores energy, that's most of your body fat. But you also have small amounts of brown fat, which actually burns calories to keep you warm. Now, as we age, this brown fat tends to become less active. But here's the interesting part. Research shows that mild cold exposure can wake it back up. I'm not talking about ice baths or anything extreme. I mean simple things like keeping your house a bit cooler in the evening, around 66 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit instead of 72 to 75 degrees. Wearing lighter layers instead of cranking up the heat. Ending your shower with 20 to 30 seconds of cooler, not freezing, just cooler water. Throughout the day, you can drink cold water regularly, which makes your body burn a few extra calories warming it up. Take a short walk outside in cooler weather instead of staying bundled up inside. The key word here is mild. You should feel slightly cool, not uncomfortable or shivering. If you have circulation issues or health conditions, definitely check with your doctor first. This isn't a magic solution, but it's a small shift that can support your metabolism over time. Think of it as giving your body a gentle nudge in the right direction. Let's talk about meal timing, and I promise this isn't going to be complicated. There's growing research showing that when you eat might be just as important as what you eat, especially after 60. Here's the basic idea. Your body has natural rhythms. Your metabolism, your hormones, even your digestive system follow patterns throughout the day. When you align your eating with these rhythms, things tend to work better. The approach that's shown the most promise is simply giving your digestive system a good long break overnight. Something like 12 to 14 hours without food. For most people, this looks like finishing dinner by 7 p.m., having breakfast between 7 and 9 a.m., and not snacking late at night. During that overnight period, your body shifts from storing energy to using it, and it tends to tap into visceral fat first because it's more metabolically available. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but I've always had a snack before bed. And that's okay. Change doesn't have to happen overnight. Start gradual. Week 1, just notice when you're actually eating. Week 2, try moving your last snack 30 minutes earlier. Week 3, another 30 minutes earlier. Work your way there slowly. The goal isn't to feel deprived or hungry. It's to give your body time to complete its digestive work and shift into maintenance mode while you sleep. If you wake up genuinely hungry, that's actually a good sign. It means your metabolism is active. Have a good breakfast with protein and healthy fats. One more thing. During your eating hours, focus on actual meals rather than constant grazing. 3 satisfying meals tend to keep your insulin more stable than 6 small meals or constant snacking. Let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention. Your gut health and belly fat are deeply connected. Now, I know fiber isn't the most exciting topic, but stay with me because this is where things get interesting. There's a specific type of fiber called soluble fiber that does something remarkable. It feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut, and these bacteria produce compounds that actually signal your body to burn fat, particularly visceral fat. Research shows that people with healthier gut bacteria tend to have less belly fat, even when everything else is equal. The best sources aren't complicated or expensive. Foods rich in soluble fiber include oats, old-fashioned, not instant, beans and lentils, any kind you enjoy, apples and pears with the skin, Brussels sprouts and broccoli, ground flaxseed, keep it in the fridge, and chia seeds. Foods that feed good bacteria, known as prebiotics, include garlic and onions, cooked or raw, leeks, asparagus, and bananas, especially slightly green ones. Here's a practical approach. In the morning, add a tablespoon of ground flax to your yogurt or oatmeal. At lunch, include a side of vegetables. At dinner, add a half cup of beans to your meal. Toss them in salads, soups, or as a side. You don't need to overhaul everything at once. Just start including more of these foods gradually. Your digestive system needs time to adjust. One word of caution. If you're not used to eating much fiber, add it slowly. Your gut bacteria need time to adapt. Start with small amounts and increase gradually over a few weeks. Otherwise, you might feel bloated or uncomfortable. And drink plenty of water. Fiber works best when you're well hydrated. Okay, this last one might sound too simple to work, but hear me out. There's a fascinating connection between stress, breathing, and belly fat that researchers are just beginning to fully understand. Here's what happens. When you're stressed, even if you don't feel particularly stressed, your body releases cortisol. And cortisol has a special relationship with visceral fat. It essentially tells your body to store fat around your middle. After 60, cortisol levels tend to be higher overall. Sleep changes, life changes, even just the accumulated stress of living, it all adds up. Now, there's a specific type of breathing that can actually lower cortisol and activate what's called your vagus nerve. This nerve runs from your brain through your organs and plays a role in how your body stores and burns fat. The technique is simple. Sit comfortably. Place one hand on your chest, one on your belly. Breathe in through your nose for 4 counts. Hold for 7 counts. Breathe out through your mouth for 8 counts. Repeat for 10 to 15 minutes. The key is making sure only your belly moves, not your chest. That's diaphragmatic breathing, and it's what activates the calming response. When should you do this? First thing in the morning helps set your stress tone for the day. Mid-afternoon counters the natural cortisol spike around 3 to 4 p.m. And before bed if you have trouble sleeping. I know it sounds almost too easy, but the research shows that people who practice this kind of breathing regularly have lower cortisol, better insulin sensitivity, and yes, less visceral fat accumulation over time. Think of it as a reset button for your nervous system. The beautiful thing about this strategy is that it costs nothing, requires no equipment, and you can do it anywhere. Even if you do nothing else, this practice supports your health in multiple ways. So, there you have it. 5 practical, evidence-based strategies that can actually make a difference. Prioritize protein at each meal. Embrace mild cold exposure. Give your digestive system a nightly break. Feed your gut with soluble fiber. And practice intentional breathing to manage stress. Here's my advice. Don't try to do everything at once. Pick one, maybe the breathing, since it's the easiest, and do it consistently for a week. Once that feels natural, add another. Change doesn't happen in 30 days. Real lasting change happens when you build small habits that you can maintain. Maybe in 3 months, you notice your pants fit better. Maybe in 6 months, your doctor is pleased with your blood work. Maybe you just feel more energetic. Everyone's journey is different. Your body after 60 is still remarkably capable of healing, adapting, and getting stronger. You just need to work with it, not against it. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these strategies are you going to try first? What's been your biggest challenge with belly fat after 60? Share in the comments below. And if you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more honest, practical health conversations. Take care of yourself. You're worth the effort.